Today I'll be reviewing Boruto episode 45, Memories from the Day of Snow. This episode felt kinda slow paced. Maybe it's because we haven't had any real action in a while, but that doesn't really bother me as much. It's just that nothing really interesting is happening. Although we did get to see Ryugi's backstory, his backstory is as original as ever. I can see through this entire arc. I've been saying it before, but anyone could really see through this arc at this point. Unless there's some sort of plot twist that changes what I think about this arc or how it's going to end, this arc is pretty generic and see through. So one thing guaranteed to happen by the end of the arc is Shikadai realizing that he should be more motivated or have some sort of inspiration or goal or something, and Boruto basically having the same. And basically, we'll also get Boruto seeing the other side of the story because he's not seeing it right now. And of course, the Byakuya gang is going to be defeated. The kid is probably going to end up getting a pass because he was Shikadai's friend and yada yada. Unless the kid somehow ends up in jail or dies for the Byakuya gang. But if he does that, it would be too similar to Haku, who died for Zabuza. And this kid is already seeming a bit too much like Haku, seeing as how his parents died. He coincidentally has an Ice Keke Genkai just like him, and he's from the Snow Nation, and he's also poor. He grew up poor. All of this is seeming a bit too much like they're trying to recreate the Zabuza arc, which was probably their intention for the previous arc too when they went to the Hidden Mist Village. But they really won't need to do that because once the anime gets to where the manga is, or the manga's first real arc after the movie adaptation, it'll be fine. Because that first arc, it's not as good as the Zabuza arc, but it is a good setup for the future of Boruto. That aside, let's talk about the actual episode. But the first thing I want to say is that I kind of called it out that Shikadai would figure out who he is with clues. He didn't use the clues I mentioned, but he did use clues based on what Ryugi was saying to figure out who he was. So let's talk about the episode as a whole. So the episode starts off with Boruto doing a bit of shuriken training with Himawari. Then on TV they notice people protesting, and they're protesting against Denki's family company because of false rumors that they mistreat their workers. And this is all because of the Byakuya gang, obviously. And the leader says that once you figure out what moves people's hearts, they're easy to manipulate. He also says that this is his jutsu. That I'm guessing he has some sort of manipulation jutsu, because he says he's able to manipulate human minds and deceive them. And as he's saying this, Ryugi questions if they are noble thieves because of the false rumors. So even though we find out in this episode that the leader has basically raised Ryugi since his parents were killed, he still has he can still think for himself because he questions the leader about the fake rumors. Also, if this really is his jutsu, he really came about in the wrong era. If this is really their leader's jutsu, he probably should have done this a long time ago. It sounds wrong to say, but he probably should have tried a long time ago strategically. Because if he had done this after a war or during a war, he could have been way more successful and his plan would have been foolproof. But I can already see holes in his plans because the Leaf has been at peace for so long, it won't take long for them to break free of his hold. So he really should have done this before or after the war, or the fourth Great Ninja War, because before or during and after a war, people become restless and become worried about themselves because of fear of death, because they've already been losing people. And this is exactly what Pain did to take control of the Rain Village during Naruto Shippuden, because he was able to take over the Rain Village because the Rain Village was used as basically a war ground, so they kept losing and suffering a lot. And Pain decided to basically end the war in the sense that he took away everyone's pain and anger. So now the Byakuya gang, or their boss at least, wants to create a stir that gives him power so that he can use his jutsu and the people's anger to his advantage. And this is exactly what Naruto is referring to when he talks to Sai and Shikamaru in the Hokage office. And Hokage Naruto is on the case. He says that unrest in the village is also his responsibility when Shikamaru says that he's already doing too much work. And Shikamaru also says that he's doing a damn good job at being Hokage. And it looks like Naruto is doing a good job at being a Hokage. Just imagine Kid Naruto becoming the serious guy who's in charge of the village and doing a good job. It's crazy. So after that, we transition over to Boruto, who meets with his friends who are at the burger shop again. And these kids are always at this burger shop every single episode. It's like what kind of ninja go to fast food every day? It's supposed to be about the ramen. This is gonna be their ultimate downfall. Them not going to Ichiraku. Don't forget, I told you guys that if they lose, it's because they didn't go to Ichiraku. Anyways, that aside, Inojin takes note that Shikadai is acting strange during this meeting, I guess. Then we switch over to Ryogi, and he's thinking about the time he spent with Shikadai and the Byakuya gang. Then we get his flashback, and basically, his flashback is he had a happy family until his mom and dad were killed, and then Gecko took care of him and showed up and showed him the way of the noble thief, and then started preaching about how they're heroes, and basically he got brainwashed into thinking that they're great noble thieves. And to be honest with this backstory, it's really feeling like Gecko was involved with his parents' death. Because his dad just shows up all bloodied up right in front of him at the door. How? And then Gecko is somewhere. He comes and he has not a single scratch on him. And apparently he finished off the guy who killed his parents, but the guy's still there and he looks completely fine. Like what type of dead person sits up? The guy he said he killed literally looks like he's sleeping on that tree. This arc is seriously getting a bit too predictable. Anyways, then Ryugi goes to play shogi with Shikadai, but this time it's different because one, Shikadai was ready to win, and Ryugi was ready to play till dark because he had a lamp with him. It also looked like he was starting to really appreciate his friendship with Shikadai. And Shikadai during this game, he came to win because he actually won this time and tells Ryogi that he'll actually do a take back if he answers one question. And Shikadai asks him if he's in the gang, and Ryogi denies it completely and says that Shikadai doesn't have any proof. And then Shikadai points out that the lamp he brought with him was on a list of stolen goods. And then Ryogi starts to freak out, which basically gives himself away. So Shikadai just proves himself to be smart, but at the same time, he proves himself to be too nice because if he noticed this and didn't tell anybody, it possibly is going to cause a major problem. To be honest, as soon as Shikadai found Ryogi out, I was expecting like Tamari to come out of the trees and just all the Leaf Ninja to just pop out, but that didn't happen because Shikadai didn't tell anyone. And Shikadai even gives him a chance after he 100% confirms that he's in the gang and says that all he wants him to do is quit it. But Ryogi is dedicated to this, so he's not going to listen and says that he's fine being a pawn as long as he can change the world. He also points out that Shikadai has never been serious about anything and doesn't really understand him. And he says that Shikadai never tries to do more than he can. So in essence, he's saying that Shikadai is lazy and he never tries to surpass his limits, which are flaws in both his character and Shikamaru's character back when he was a kid. Well, actually, I'm pretty sure if Shikamaru was in this situation, he probably would have told someone. And even as Ryogi is escaping, Shikadai doesn't even really try to stop him, and he's able to get away like quickly with really no effort at all. He was able to put on his mask in front of Shikadai. Like he could have attacked him in that 1 second, and he did nothing. And this is exactly what his mom was talking about in the other episode when she said he's gonna let a chance pass him by. So the episode ends with the Byakuya gang saying that they're going to the final stage of their plan, called the Crest of the Night strategy. So I'm hoping Shikadai finds his resolve to fight soon, so that the arc could end. But even if he does find his resolve to fight in the next episode, there's still the matter of Boruto figuring out what he's gonna do and what he thinks of these guys. And then there's Naruto and the Kahona 11 who are somehow gonna get involved. So I'm saying this arc is gonna last 3 more episodes max. Hopefully. Overall, I give this episode a 6.5 to a 7 out of 10. It had really great character progression, and the art and animation for the last like 3 minutes or so was really good. I was like, why are they doing this? They really gotta save all the skill and manpower they have when they readapt the movie arc because it needs to be better. I'm really hoping they readapt this movie arc soon, right after this arc, because I'm actually looking forward to the tuning exams, which they're probably gonna expand on. Hopefully, I'm really hoping for that. Also, the Momoshiki stuff doesn't really need to be expanded. But I think I'll talk about that in a different video. But let me know what you thought of this episode in the comment section below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching, and bye.